So, my name is John Schellnhuber, obviously, and it's a short introduction. I just want to prompt a few themes that will be addressed by the speakers next. So there was, first of all, a very remarkable paper coming out in Science last week. Actually, it should have been the #1 in the news in every country. It is a reconstruction of the last sort of 500 million years of history of Earth's surface temperature. So, and there was an accompanying paper here, Hot and Cold Earth through Time. This is the result. So you see how on the vertical you have the temperature change. You see this tremendous volatility of the Earth climate over the last 500 million years. And actually, the correction was on the warmer side. So in the past, there were much warmer epochs than we thought before, talking about geology. But the most amazing and scary result is the following one. So if you read just the things that are marked in red, suggesting an apparent Earth system sensitivity of 8 degrees over the last 500 million years. Earth system sensitivity is, if you double CO2 in the atmosphere, what will be the long-term climate response? And if it would be 8 degrees, it would be the end of our civilization. And the brilliant talk by Professor Alem Seget has shown the journey of Homo sapiens on Earth would simply end under these circumstances. So hopefully our crash injection of CO2 into the atmosphere, because we are not yet at doubling, we are at 150% right now, but we are on course of doubling CO2. This crash injection will be somehow digested in a different way. What would it mean if you would just go business as usual, if all the climate sort of legacies, laws, stories, managements would be implemented fully by the 200-something nations on Earth, when we would end up with 2.7 degrees warming already by the end of the century. And this would mean, there have been several papers about the so-called human niche. Where can people survive due to temperature and humidity? And actually the result is, and it's a very stark result, that at the official warming, which is now sort of being delivered by climate policy around the world, would push 1/3 of human population out of the habitable zone. So this would be the greatest relocation of all time. That is where the human journey would end, because we cannot imagine that we would relocate 2 billion people from the inner tropics in peace, without war, without massacres and so on. It's almost impossible. So this is where we are right now. So the last year and this year actually have made a jump in global mean temperature. So on the vertical axis to the left, you see we are now touching 1.5, 1.6 degrees. And we will clearly overshoot 1.5 degrees. We will also overshoot 2 degrees. That's simply the inertia of the physics in the system. So what can we do about it? It will create, of course, all types of biodiversity losses. So Jane and others will talk about it. The other thing is, so Jürgen Brenn in his introduction talked about the energy system, of course. I think the other big issue is the material fluxes, the material system. So this is a famous paper from the Weizmann Institute showing that now anthropogenic mass, you know, this lasagne of concrete and so on, since 1900, has overtaken biomass, living biomass on Earth. So now anthropogenic materials are dominating, in particular concrete and things like that. Now, we had a workshop here at the Pontifical Academy 2 years ago, which was, you see Ursula von der Leyen, for example, standing next to Joachim von Braun here in the middle. It was about how the built environment, which is now the biggest perpetrator of climate change, could be turned into a global carbon sink, actually, if we would switch to other building materials, so built on photosynthesis, of course, because photosynthesis is extracting carbon from the atmosphere. So if we would switch to timber and bamboo and things like that, we could create a global carbon sink. Yeah? It's extremely important, and that is probably the nature-based solution to climate change. And we have done this workshop. It was a smashing success, and we will probably continue doing that. So finally, because we have also this issue about, Ilian will talk about artificial intelligence and things like that. So let me share with you just the last thought. When we think about what is driving our civilization, is it high-tech? No. Is it no-tech? No. It is middle-tech, more or less. The combustion engine is not a rocket science, of course. A microphone here, all these things. It's middle-tech, but we have so many other opportunities. So on the one hand, on the left-hand side, we have the so-called evolutionary solutions, photosynthesis, the biggest invention of all time, which is providing oxygen and biomass. But of course, we have natural tissues, we have design. On the right-hand side, we will talk about it, we have the really advanced science, high-tech, nano devices, quantum computing, synthetic biology, additive manufacturing, of course, generalized artificial intelligence. And I see the future of our civilization, if there is a civilization also in the next 1,000 years or so, is by combining the two ends, actually, namely combining nature-based solutions. And we have not even explored 1/100th of the potential of what nature and evolution has offered to us, together with the most advanced cognitive tools of all times, that is artificial intelligence, which will be accelerated 1,000-fold by quantum computing. If we combine the two things, nature and advanced knowledge, I think we can save the world. And this is the theme of this session. Thanks for this attention. And now I move over to Jane Lubchenko, if our kind technicians are able to connect her. Thank you.